Hi, my name's Michael Schwartz, and I'm here to talk to you about how development has impacted Grandmere State Park. Grandmere State Park is a small state park located in Berrien County, Michigan. It is known for large, wind-blown sand dunes that line 2 miles of Lake Michigan's shoreline. Inland of these dunes is a chain of 3 lakes and 2 large tamarack swamps. The dunes present in Grandmere create unique ecology and allow for a variety of rare or endangered plants to survive here. Despite the unsurpassable beauty and uniqueness of Grandmere, this area was not declared a state park until 1986 and was abused by developers both prior to and even after being declared a state park. The land that is now known as Grandmere State Park was originally purchased in 1865 and quickly stripped of all old-growth virgin white pines. Lumber was shipped out from a harbor constructed on Lake Michigan's shoreline at Grandmere. Upon clearing out large lumber, a peach orchard and commercial cranberry bog became the new form of revenue. As Grandmere developed, so did the nearby city of Chicago. During the early stages of development at Grandmere, Chicago's population was growing exponentially. Grandmere's close proximity to Chicago fueled developers who quickly realized the potential for catering towards Chicago clientele and began constructing subdivisions and multiple resorts along the lakeshore. Development slowed for a number of years, and many locals and Chicago area residents were able to enjoy the solitude of this area. This didn't last long, however, as the construction of Interstate 94 cut directly through Grandmere. This not only encouraged even more tourism in from Chicago, but ended the years of silence as roaring vehicles now echoed throughout the dunes, and construction of Exit 22, located at the north end of Grandmere, required the leveling of natural sand dune structures. I-94 paved the way for an influx of Chicago residents seeking a weekend retreat, many of which had second homes built along the Lake Michigan shoreline. The trend of Southwest Michigan appealing to residents searching for a home has continued to present day, as Berrien County, Michigan ranks in the highest category of second homes per county with 10,000 or more. Other data collected by the Census Bureau narrows this down and estimates that 270 or 14.2% of total housing units within the census tract encompassing Grandmere are strictly for seasonal, recreational, or occasional use. This is above the percentage for Berrien County, which is 9.4, and higher than the Michigan average at 5.8%. Grandmere was developing throughout the years, so was the rest of the Midwest, and with this came the increased demand for roads, dams, schools, homes, automobiles, etc. People often fail to realize that sand plays a critical role in the production of metal castings, which is required for nearly all metal construction projects. Predominantly quartz sand, specific to the west coast of Michigan, is ideal for producing these metal castings, and an average of 2.26 million metric tons of sand has been mined each year from Michigan sand dunes. With only 5,000 acres of permitted mining dunes in Michigan, 972 acres of land at Grandmere has always appealed to mining companies and was actively mined from around 1910 to 2002. Sand mining has a number of environmental implications. Sand mining in Grandmere has led to erosion and vegetation clearance, which has created openings for invasive plants to establish. Removing the dunes also eliminates the unique microclimates that they create, which are paramount for the survival of endangered plants. Clearing the dunes also eliminates a buffer from wind and weather coming from the lake, ultimately leading to further erosion. Furthermore, Michigan sand dunes are the largest freshwater dunes in the world and hold a special place in the hearts of locals and tourists alike. Many argue that sand mining creates jobs and brings revenue into the state, but with 63% of sand getting shipped to out-of-state foundries and the average market price sitting somewhere between $5 and $10 per ton, it seems as though Michigan is simply giving away their world-renowned sand dunes for almost nothing. Grandmere State Park owes its existence to the local community who fought for years to preserve the landscape. It was announced in 1965 that a group of developers had purchased Grandmere and planned to build industrial complexes, commercial buildings, high-rise apartments, a golf course, and boat marinas. It was then that the local community band together and formed the Grandmere Association. With the township board backing the developers, the Grandmere Association battled to save the landscape. After gaining the recognition and support from many conservation organizations, their fight paid off, and the development plan was voted down in 1967. Grandmere still wasn't saved though, as in the meantime the landscape continued to be mined for sand. The Grandmere Association continued to fight for conservation, eventually gaining enough recognition for the DNR to strike up a deal with the mining companies. Grandmere was declared a state park in 1986, and the last dump truck of sand pulled out of the park in 2002. The natural state of Grandmere has suffered as a result of housing development, increased tourism, and sand mining. This has both been costly from an ecological standpoint and financially. The restoration of the Peters Sand Mine, which was the last active mining site in the state park, was $300,000. It still faces issues relating to erosion. Furthermore, what was once a pristine stretch of 3 miles of beach is now roughly half of that, with the other half being residential beachfront homes. Invasive plant species have established throughout the areas of erosion and provide competition to native species. Matters could be far worse, though, if not for a group of ambitious Grandmere activists who ultimately saved this area.